Somewhere out there, supposedly, floats a yacht plated in 100,000 kilograms of solid gold and platinum. It has a wall made of meteorite rock, a statue carved from genuine T-Rex dinosaur bones, and a price tag of $4.8 billion. It's called History Supreme, and for years it has sat at number 1 on almost every most expensive yacht list on the internet. There is just one problem. It doesn't exist. It never did. No registry, no photographs, no hull anyone has ever laid eyes on. The Italian boat builder whose pictures were used to sell the story said the images were simply stolen from their website. The whole thing is a hoax, and it is not the only one. You will also see a $1.1 billion floating city called the Streets of Monaco, complete with its own go-kart racetrack and a miniature Monaco Grand Prix circuit on deck. That one is real in the sense that someone drew it, but it was only ever a concept. No one ever built it. Once you pull on these threads, you realize that a lot of what you have been told about the world's most expensive yachts is pure fantasy. So I did the only sensible thing. I went and found the 10 most expensive yachts that are actually real. The verified, the floating, the genuinely insane. Real owners, real shipyards, real numbers, as close as money this secretive will ever let us get. And the higher we climb toward number 1, the stranger this world becomes. One thing before we start, because it changes everything. No billionaire has ever stood up and confirmed what their yacht cost. The shipyards never publish the bill. So every price I give you is an estimate, the best that the industry and the press have been able to pin down, and the figures swing wildly from one source to the next. The single number we can actually measure is length. Everything else is educated guesswork. Hold on to that. By the time we reach number 1, it becomes the entire point. Let's start at number 10. Number 10. Flying Fox. Around $400 million, and at 446 feet, she is the largest charter yacht on the planet. Built by the German yard Lersen in 2019, Flying Fox is the one on this list you could, in theory, actually step aboard if you happen to have about $4 million to spare for a single week. For that, you get a 2-deck spa that is the largest ever put to sea, complete with a cryosauna and a hammam. 12 cabins and room for 25 guests. Beyoncé and Jay-Z reportedly chartered her, and here is your first piece of yacht mythology to bin. For years, the internet insisted this was Jeff Bezos's boat. Amazon flatly denied it. The real owner is believed to be a Russian airport billionaire named Dmitry Kamenshchik. Bezos, as you will see, was busy building something of his own. Number 9. Topaz, now renamed A Plus. Estimated at around $527 million, 147 meters of Lersen steel, delivered in 2012. This one belongs to a name football fans will know instantly, Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Abu Dhabi royal who owns Manchester City. 8 decks, a swimming pool, a cinema, and a level of secrecy so total that for years nobody could even confirm who the owner was. Leonardo DiCaprio has reportedly vacationed aboard her during the World Cup. The man owns one of the most valuable football clubs on Earth, a club worth several billion, and yet this one yacht might be the more personal trophy of the two. Number 8. Serene. Built by Italy's Fincantieri for around $330 million, but it is the sail that makes her famous. In 2014, the future Saudi Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, was on holiday in the south of France. He saw Serene anchored offshore and reportedly bought her on the spot for roughly $550 million, sending an envoy to the owner the same day. An impulse purchase the size of a small nation's budget. And what did $500 million buy him? An indoor snow room that makes real snow, an underwater viewing chamber below the waterline, a climbing wall, and a saltwater pool that drains and converts into a dance floor. Number 7. Koru. Around $500 million, and this is Jeff Bezos's actual yacht. At 417 feet, Koru is one of the largest sailing yachts ever built. 3 towering masts, crafted by the Dutch yard Ochanco. Finished in 2023. Those masts caused one of the great yacht stories of the decade. They were so tall that to get her out to sea, the city of Rotterdam was asked to dismantle a historic steel bridge. The public outcry was so fierce the plan was scrapped. And because the masts left no room for a helipad, Bezos simply bought a second yacht, a $75 million support vessel called Abeona, just to carry his helicopter. A support yacht for the yacht. This was also where he married Lauren Sanchez in 2025. Number 6. Nord, around $500 million, 466 feet. Another Lursen giant delivered in 2021. With 2 helipads, an enclosed hangar, a cinema, and around 20 cabins, Nord has been described as looking like a Bond villain's headquarters. Her owner is the Russian steel magnate Alexei Mordashov, once among the richest men in Russia. And that ownership brings us to the thing that quietly connects almost every yacht on this list. The thing nobody puts in the brochure. Because here is what you start to notice. Look again at the names: Mordashov, Usmanov, Melnichenko, Abramovich. When sanctions hit Russia in 2022, these floating fortunes became floating liabilities. Yachts worth hundreds of millions were chased across oceans, frozen in Italian ports, seized in German shipyards. Some owners raced their boats to friendly waters in the dead of night to keep them. The most expensive toys on Earth, the ultimate symbols of being untouchable, turned out to be the easiest things in the world to take away. Keep that in mind as the numbers get bigger, because the bigger the boat, the bigger the target. Now the top 5. Number 5, sailing yacht A. Estimated between $450 and $600 million, and unlike anything else on this water, at 469 feet, she is the largest sailing yacht in the world, but she looks like a spaceship that wandered in from the future. Designed by Philippe Starck for the Russian billionaire Andrei Melnichenko, she carries 3 masts that stand around 300 feet tall, taller than Big Ben, and an underwater observation pod built into the keel so you can watch the ocean from below the waterline. She was seized in Italy in 2022. The cost, just to keep her docked and maintained, reportedly runs into the tens of millions a year. Number 4, Al Said. Estimated anywhere from $300 to $600 million, a 508-foot Lursen built for the late Sultan Qaboos of Oman. And she hides perhaps the single most extraordinary feature on this entire list. Somewhere inside is a concert hall large enough to seat a 50-piece orchestra. Not a music room, a genuine concert venue at sea. She carries around 70 guests and needs a crew of more than 150 just to run. That is more staff than many companies employ on land, all to keep a single yacht moving. Think about that. An entire town's worth of people, an orchestra, and a concert hall, all sailing quietly somewhere off the coast of Oman. Number 3, Eclipse. Roman Abramovich's legendary fortress, estimated at anywhere from $700 million to over $1 billion, depending on which figure you believe. You will see the number 1.5 billion thrown around constantly. Treat it with suspicion. The real contract price was almost certainly lower. But what is documented is staggering. At 533 feet, Eclipse carries 2 helipads, 2 swimming pools, a mini submarine, around 24 guest cabins, and an anti-paparazzi laser system that detects camera sensors and fires a beam of light to ruin any unauthorized photograph. There are reports of missile defense and bulletproof glass. This was not a yacht. This was a floating embassy with its own deterrent. Number 2, DILBAR, estimated between $600 million and as much as $1 billion, delivered by Lursen in 2016. At 512 feet, she is not the longest on this list, but she is the largest motor yacht in the world by sheer volume, the most internal space of any yacht ever floated. Inside sits the largest swimming pool ever installed on a yacht, around 180 cubic meters of water. She needs 2 helipads, a crew of 84, and even has an onboard garden. Linked to the Uzbek-born oligarch Alisher Usmanov, DILBAR was frozen by German authorities in 2022. A $500 million vessel locked in place, going nowhere. And number 1, Azzam, the longest private yacht ever built, 592 feet of German engineering from the Lursen yard, delivered in 2013. To put that in perspective, she is longer than the Eiffel Tower is tall to its 2nd level, and stretches nearly 2 football fields end to end. But length is not even the most absurd thing about her. Azzam can do over 32 knots. That is a vessel the length of 2 football fields, moving faster than most powerboats, driven by gas turbines pushing around 47,000 horsepower. She was built in roughly 3 years for the late ruler of Abu Dhabi, and her cost cost is universally estimated at around $600 million. Which brings us back to where we started. Is Azzam truly the most expensive yacht in the world? Honestly, nobody can prove it. Exclude the hoaxes like that fake gold dinosaur boat, and the crown usually lands on Azzam, on the strength of being the longest. But Eclipse and DILBAR both have a claim, and not one of these owners has ever confirmed a single figure. Here is the real truth I promised you at the start. The most expensive yacht in the world is not really a fact. It is a question of which estimate you choose to trust. And maybe that is the most billionaire thing of all, to own something so expensive that no one on Earth, not even you, can say exactly what it is worth. These are not just boats. They cost an estimated 10% of their value every single year just to exist, $60 million to keep one afloat, and yet they can be chased down and frozen in a foreign port overnight. The ultimate symbol of freedom, that turns out to be anything but. So tell me, if the price were no object and the world's navies were not watching, which one would you choose? I know which one I would. Until next time.